Hello viewers, welcome to you all in this new lecture on the series of transformer, and this will be the final lecture on this series. In this video lecture, we will study about the efficiency of a transformer. I am Dr. Vijay Sharma, Assistant Professor in Department of Physics, Government Mahila Engineering College, Ajmer. As we know that ideal transformer is one which is 100% efficient. That means the power supplied at the input terminal, it should be exactly equal to the power which is supplied to the which is supplied received at the output terminal. Since efficiency can only be 100% if the output power is equal to input power with zero energy losses. But we have studied in the previous video lecture that there are certain losses exist, and due to these losses inside the core and windings in the transformer, so we never get a 100% efficient transformer. So in this video lecture, we will study what is the meaning of this efficiency, and we will derive the condition and we will derive the related terms. And these are the contents which we will discuss in this video lecture. We will discuss the definition of efficiency first, then what is the condition to achieve the maximum efficiency of a transformer, what is the meaning of all day efficiency of a transformer, and we will also solve one or two problem related to the efficiency of a transformer. And assignment problem as usual is also given so that you can evaluate what you understand with this video title. So let us start with this. So the efficiency of a transformer, so the amount of the intensity of power loss in a transformer determines what is the efficiency of a transformer, and this efficiency can be understood in terms of power loss between primary and secondary of a transformer because of the losses like iron loss, winding resistance, leakage reactance, dielectric losses, stray losses. So therefore, the output power of the transformer will be always less than the input power drawn by the primary from the source. So the transformer efficiency in a direct term can be explained as the ratio of output power to the input power. So you can see here that the efficiency, which is represented by neta, it is the ratio of the output power to the input power. Then we have written in a different way that this out input power, what is the input power? Input power is the output power in kilowatt plus the losses. And what are the losses here is, so losses is the, as we discussed in the previous video lecture, there are two type of losses. One is the iron losses, that is the core loss, and one is the copper losses, that is the winding which occurs in the winding resistance. So we have to write it mathematically that the efficiency neta, it can be written as the ratio of this output power in kilowatt to the output power in kilowatt plus Pi, that is the iron loss, and the copper losses in primary winding, that is I1 square R1, and the I2 square R2, that is in secondary. As we know that the input power is V1 I1 cos of phi, and we have to take that output power is V2 I2 cos of phi. So that efficiency can be written as that efficiency the output power. So this will be the output power V2 I2 cos of phi, phi 2 here, that is the power factor angle in the secondary, and this again output power plus I2 square RE2, that is the in secondary, and this is iron loss. So we can write it further in terms of per unit efficiency at the load current I2 for the power factor cos phi 2. So it will be now neta V2 I2 cos phi 2, V2 I2 cos phi 2 plus I2 square RE2 plus PA, which is in per unit. Similarly, if we are interested in the per unit efficiency at full load, now please be focused that what is the basic fundamental difference between this and this. Here we are taking the efficiency in the full load term. So in full load term, we are writing here efficiency with FL in subscript that represent the efficiency full load, and we are putting here I2FL, which is the full load current in the secondary. So the formula with from this convert to this, and it becomes, and if we suppose that this volt ampere is represented by this S2FL. So FL stands for the full load. So here if you will look out, then the constant which is represented here, so the V2 is the nothing but it is the secondary terminal voltage, and I2FL is the full load secondary current, and this cos phi 2, it is the power factor of the load, and Pi is the iron losses, which is again the sum of stresses losses as well as the eddy current losses, and this I square 2 FL, that is full load current, that is uh, I2 square is the secondary current, full load secondary current, and RE2 is the equivalent resistance in the secondary. So the I2 square RE2 will be the full load copper losses in the secondary. So we can write this formula again just by taking this volt ampere to FL equals to S2FL. So it will be this factor will become S2, and similarly we can write this formula, and this is nothing but the full copper loss. So it is put into PC. C stands for copper loss in full load, and this is the PI. So these are the formula in different way we can write. Now as we know that in transformer there is no rotational part, so that is why there is no rotational losses such as winding and frictional losses in the rotating machine. So therefore we can obtain a maximum efficiency as high as the 90% if we design a transformer in a well format. Now let us take what is the condition for a maximum efficiency. So the efficiency of the transformer along the load and the power factor is expressed by this relation. So the efficiency is again as usual the output over output plus the losses. So here this is the equation number 1. So this is the output power output, and it is the V2 I2 cos of I2, and again output plus the losses. I am taking out to here common from numerator as well as denominator. So I2 will be cancelled out, and here it is I2 square now becomes I2 only, and here PI2 having a denominator term I2 also. Now this equation shows that this efficiency neta varies with the load. So whatever the load we are putting changes this efficiency. Okay, you can see this is the plot of efficiency versus the load, and in this figure what you can observe that at low value of the load, here the load is increasing. Okay, so at the low value of the load, we have the efficiency is low. Efficiency is low. Okay, and it is due to the hysteresis losses, that is the magnetization and demagnetization of the core of the transformer, and the eddy current losses that dominate over output power. So when load on transformer is further increased, so as the load increases, its efficiency increases. However, in that it is not the meaning that we are increasing the load and every time that will increases at the infinite time. If we have to increase the load further, then due to transformer winding has finite resistance, and higher current in transformer winding increase copper losses, I square R losses in transformer, which dissipate energy in the form of heat, and which increases the temperature of transformer. So this will be, and due to this the output power of transformer goes beyond 50% and of its nameplate capacity. So the power loss in transformer starts on drop. So you will say that they dominates and the efficiency of drop. So the meaning here is that as the load is increasing, so the initially the efficiency is low, and as the load increases, it gets to its maximum value. So this is the value of the load which is corresponding to maximum efficiency, and thereafter it will be go drop down. So this is the variation of the efficiency with the load, and sometimes it is desired that we have to know under what condition or at what value of the load the transformer will operate at its maximum efficiency. So in order to be get it out the maximum of this efficiency, what we can do, we have studied in the mathematics that to we get it out the maximum of the given equation, what we can do, we have to differentiate it first time with respect to this the I2, that is the load current. It is also the load current either the load. So if I have to differentiate this efficiency with respect to this load current I2, and if it becomes 0, it will give me the condition for the maximum efficiency if its second derivative is less than 0. That means the value of this second derivative will be a negative. So what I will do, we will make a differentiation of this equation number 2 first with respect to I2, and since the V2 and cos phi 2 are constant for a given load, so you can check here that this V2 and this cos phi 2, so both these values are constant. Okay, so if these two values are constant, that means this factor is constant. So ultimately the value of this will be maximum whenever this denominator term will be the minimum. So for this denominator term, we need a minimum, and it will give us maximum efficiency. So again with the mathematics, that if this is the denominator value, so when it will be minimum? It will be minimum only when its first order derivative will be 0, and its second derivative will be more than 0. So it will be more than 0, that it will be positive, then it will give us a minimum. So what we are doing first, we are taking the first order derivative of this equation with respect to the load current I. So we are taking d over di2, and this is the factor, and this is the denominator value here. And on differentiating it with respect to I2, there, since there will be no I2, it will be 0. Here is the I2, so I2 differentiate will be RE2. That means I2 will becomes 1, RE2 constant, and I2 will become 1. And second part of this will be 0. And the differentiative of 1 over I2 square, I2 will becomes minus of I2 square. So it will be minus Pi I2 square. So for a minimum value of denominator, we have this equation with us. On solving it further, that means taking this factor on this side and making cross multiplication, what we have with us is that this iron loss should be equals to I2 square Re2, and this I2 Re2 is what? It is the copper loss. So we can also check that the second order derivative of this equation is what? So on taking differential of this equation again, this equation number 7, and just to check it out the minimum value. So in that case, what it gives us, then we're taking differentiation, this RE2 will become 0 because this does not contain any I2, and the differentiation of this minus I2 square, it becomes 2 over I2 power 3. So this is 2 pi I2 power 3, and this negative will be cancelled out. So it is more than 0. So since this d2 di2 square of this denominator value is positive, so this gives us the condition of maximum efficiency. Which condition? This condition. And what this condition gives us, that this is the iron loss and this is the copper loss. We have studied in the last video lecture. So the condition for maximum efficiency of transformer lies when the iron loss becomes equal to copper loss. So whenever the iron loss becomes equal to copper loss, so in that case the maximum efficiency can be attained. So this is how we can derive the condition to achieve the maximum efficiency of a transformer, and it is a very useful expression to study. So doing this, we can get the maximum or the highest efficiency of the transformer. Therefore the proper designing can give us the maximum efficiency, that is copper loss and iron loss should be equal. There are certain points that should also be understand, and it should be known to the readers of the transformer, that the efficiency is usually less than 1, and it is often expressed as a percentage. Generally we have to write percentage. So if it is 1, that is a 100% efficient transformer, that is it is the ideal one. But the practical transformer efficiency are generally quite high in comparison to other electrical machine and electronic device, that is motor, generators, on the order of 90 to 98% or 99% whatsoever. Now we'll take a look of the all day efficiency. What does it mean, the all day efficiency? As you know, the general efficiency, what we have discussed just, that the ordinary efficiency is the ratio of the output and the input. Okay, but there are number of transformer whose performance cannot be monitored according to the this efficiency formula. Okay, because those distribution transformer which supplies electrical energy to lighting and other general circuits, their primary energizes for 24 hours, but the secondary winding does not energize all the time at once. Or we can say that the secondary windings only energize at the night time when they supply electrical energy to lighting circuits. So the secondary winding supply electric power for very small load or no load for maximum time in 24 hours. And it means that the core loss occurs for 24 hours regularly, whereas the copper losses occurs only when transformer is on load. So therefore it is realized that the necessity to design a transformer in which the core loss should be low, as a copper loss depends on load, therefore they should be neglected. So in such type of transformer, but we can track their performance only by the all day efficiency. So this come in the scenes. So this time the output is the input, and this is nothing but the output of transformer in 24 hours in kilowatt to the input of transformer in 24 hours in kilowatt. And this all day efficiency may also be called as the operational efficiency. On the basis of usable energy, we estimate the all day efficiency for a specific time during the 24 hours, that is the Monday. and we can find it by the formula which is shown in here, that is the all day efficiency is the output transformer in 24 hours to the input. And to understand about this all day efficiency, what we know, that we must know about the load cycle, and that is how much load is connected for how much time in 24 hours. So this is the uh, calculation of the all day efficiency of a transformer. So let us solve some problem related to these issues so that we can understand it more interestingly. So this is the first solved problem here, and this is the this is states that a 500 kVA transformer has 2500 watts iron loss, that is the PA value, and 7500 watts copper loss, that is PC value, at full load. So these both these values and all these values are given on the full load, and the power factor is 0.8 lagging, and we are asked to calculate the transformer efficiency at full load first. So and then the maximum efficiency, then output kVA corresponding to maximum efficiency, and transfer efficiency at half load also. So let us start with this. So these are the values given to us. So importantly, we have to write it first. And the transformer output is this value 500 kVA. We can write in this terms. So in terms of what we can write at 0.8. So we have to multiply it with the 0.8. So it will be the output power. So this is comes out to be 4 lakhs watt, and the iron loss and the copper losses are given in here and here. So you can write these value. And the transformer efficiency at full load is the ratio of the output power to the input power, whereas input power is the sum of output power plus iron losses plus copper losses, that is also losses that occur in the transformer. So using the formula which we have just derived, so putting all these value and multiplying it by 100 to be get it out in percentage, we achieve this value 97.56%. And second question, what is asked here is the maximum efficiency of the transformer, and maximum efficiency will be achieved only when the copper loss is equal to the iron losses. So the same formula is the same formula here, but instead of taking PI and PCU differently, we have to take that both the values are same. So in that case, we are taking PI equals to PC, and the iron loss equals to copper losses. So this value will be the same for both, and again we have to calculate this, and it increases the efficiency, and it is the maximum efficiency we can attain with this transformer. The third question which is given to us is we have to calculate output kVA corresponding to maximum efficiency. So in order to be calculate the maximum efficiency corresponding to this output kVA, this is the formula, you can derive it. So the full load kVA multiplied by square root of PI over PC. So on solving this, we have 166.5 kVA. So it will be the output kVA with the transformer. And fourth point, we have to calculate transformer efficiency at half load. So the transformer efficiency at half load will be considered using this formulation. So the fraction of load at which efficiency is to be calculated is half, that means at 0.5. So we are taking this consideration. So if this x or the zeta is the fraction of the full load, the efficiency of the transformer at this fraction is given by this relation. So this is as usually this is the efficiency formula. If we have to forget this zeta or the x, then it is nothing but it is the efficiency equals to output over output power plus the losses. As you know that there will be no effect on the iron losses of the load, it affects only on the copper losses. So the effect of the this half load is putting in this formulation. So efficiency is written in neta with this x or the zeta, and this x output power, that is the fraction of output power with x, and fraction of output power with x. Here in the copper losses it will be x square. So putting a value of this x or the zeta 0.5 in the formulation of this output power, we have to all these value. When we have to put all these value in solving this, we have an efficiency of 96.89%. So this is all about the problem we can how we can solve the problem related to this. One another problem which is given in here is this, that the equivalent resistance of a 150 kVA to 2400 volt to 40 volt transformer are having these values. These are certain values given to us, and the transformer is operating at rated load and the rated voltage with 0.8 lagging power factor. So again the power factor is given in here, which is the lagging here, and using the approximate equivalent circuit referred to primary side. So this side this time the circuit is referred to the primary, so we will take A square, and we have to calculate one voltage regulation, the transformer power loss, and the efficiency. And we know that the equivalent resistance when transferred to primary side. So in that case, it will be A square R2. So whenever R2, that is the resistance in secondary side, referred to the primary side, becomes A square R2. So the value of R1 which is given to us is zero point 0.2, and the value of R2 which is given to us is 2 milliohm. So we have to convert in the ohm, and we have to solve it. So in that case, we have that this equivalent resistance on the primary side is the 0.4. Similarly, we can calculate the reactance on the primary side. So it is again A square X2. X2 is the reactance on the secondary side referred to the primary. So on solving this, the X2 value is again given in milliohm. So again, we have to convert it. In solving, it gives us 0.9 ohm. If we are interested in to be solve calculate the core loss, power in the core, so we have to calculate with V square over R, and it is coming from the inductance power. So this is the value you can calculate. So this value RC, which is the parallel branch, and due to this, if we have to calculate, this is in kilo ohm. So on solving this, 20 V1 square, V1 is the 2400 volt. So on solving this, we have with us this 560 volt, and now we have to calculate the copper losses. So the copper losses is nothing but it is the I square R equivalent. So I2, so I2 value is has to be calculate. Either it can be written in terms of the V. So in terms of V, we can write it with this formulation: Vi equals to Sa. We have solved in the derivation previously. So this SFL is the volt ampere. So the volt ampere value for the kVA is the 150 kVA. So 150 into 10 to the power 3. V2 is the 2400 the square, and this R equivalent is the calculated is 0.4. So in calculating this, we have this value with us. Now, if X is the load factor, and it is 1 because it's treated at rated load, and the power factor which is given to us is 0.8 lakh. So using all these calculations, we will calculate first the voltage regulation. So the voltage regulation formula is this, and putting all these value, we can calculate it, and it gives out to be 2.24%. Similarly, if we are interested in calculating the transformer power loss, so the power loss will be the core loss, and the similarly it will be the copper losses. Since there will be no effect on the core loss of the load, so nothing will get changed. However, for the copper losses, there will be effect of load. So taking this X, and this is at the rated load, so the value of X is taken 1. On calculating this, it gives us 2.1385 kilowatt. That is the total loss. And if we are interested in calculating out the efficiency, so again the efficiency at a given load, that is at 0.8 power factor lagging. So this will be the X fraction here, X fraction in again here, no change in the core, but there will be change in the copper losses. So putting all these value, we have to get with this. So importantly, we can summarize in that is in a nutshell. We can check that the efficiency will be maximum whenever Pi equals to Pc, that is the iron loss should be equals to the copper losses, and whenever there is a power factor lagging, then in that case it will affect not the core loss, there will be no effect on the core loss, however it will affect the output power as well as the copper losses. So this is all about the losses in the efficiency of the transformer, and this is the assignment problem. On the basis of the previous two problems which we have solved, you can solve these two problems. And this is the final lecture, as I've already told you. You can watch the related videos on the links I will show you, and these are the references you can follow if you have any doubt. And thank you for watching this video. For any query, you can write me at vijayasharma@gwec.ac.in. For previous 8 lecture, that includes construction and working principle of transformer, EMF equation, ideal transformer, no load condition, practical transformer, equivalent circuit of transformer, voltage regulation, and losses in transformer. You can watch any of the link. Okay, so thank you for watching this video series on the transformer. Thank you.